how do you recruit players on their size and strength or their technical ability and football brain?
And so the game's different. Like you've got to see strength, size, speed as a skill as well. Now that doesn't mean that you can't make it if you don't have those things. You've got to adapt and find ways to impact the game. And there's plenty of players that do that. Like Busquets is a great example. He's slow as hell, but he's so smart. He's got a football brain.
Yeah.
He's got skill. And you know, he's able to be one of the best football players in the world with his football brain.
Today we got a very special guest. It's the first time I'm gonna do a live interview. Hope goes well. I hope we can bring you a lot of value. Here we go, Dimi.
How are you?
How are you, my friend?
Good. Enjoying the lockdown.
Yeah? What have you done this time?
I haven't moved.
You haven't done much, eh?
All day in front of a computer.
Yeah. That's the life at this point, eh? We gotta adapt, we gotta try to do things different. But I'm sure you've been watching football. I saw your story this morning, 2 a.m., waking up.
Oh, that was a tough one. Waking up, it was trying to stay awake. Those 2 a.m. games here are the worst.
Yeah, I don't know. Back in Colombia, when I was there, games used to be 3 p.m., 7 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon, perfect to watch. Here, you gotta wake up early.
Oh, it's good when you wake up early, like the 5 a.m. ones. Like you just go to sleep and you wake up and you watch it. But the 2 o'clock, it's impossible. You either have to stay up the whole time or 1 hour.
True. It's a very long day. Yeah. Dimitri, I'm glad to have you here. For the players that are watching and people that maybe don't know you, just quickly introduce yourself. Personally, I know you because you were my coach at Glasgow Magic. First grade coach, but also I've seen you around the field every time and it's glad to see you every time. And I just want people to get to know a little bit more about who you are, what have you done, what are you doing at the moment?
Oh, well, that's a lot to unpack there, Sergio. But mostly, yeah, as the profile says, I'm definitely a full-time coach these days. It was something I tried to do for a long time, part-time. I've been coaching now for almost a decade. I started just coaching at a local school while I was playing college in America. I was there a good 9-10 years ago now, and I always knew that I liked coaching because I like telling people what to do, I think. But no, definitely just it was, you know, you always as a player think, what am I going to do if I can't play? Like if you really love the game, you just kind of find a way to stick with it. And so I started coaching from there, and then when I came here to Australia, I started coaching at Gladesville as a youth coach, doing academies, trying to just do as much as I could. And then worked all my way up to coaching first grade when I coached you. Now currently I'm coaching at Northwest Sydney Football, which is now Koalas and Spirits, so men's and women's. So I'm involved with the youth as a tactical coach, mostly with the youth coaches, and with the Koalas, the women's, I'm the assistant coach for first grade. So it's definitely a different experience. The first time I'm coaching women's, but I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm really impressed with the level. So it's been quite an experience, quite a journey so far. And then as you saw, and whoever's been watching now, like we just launched Total Pro Footballer, which is my new coaching service. It's mainly that I decided just to go full time with soccer and football and just finish every other job. It was something that I started thinking during the pandemic, the first lockdown last year. I just started saying, you know, if everything stopped right now, would I be want to doing for the rest of my life? And it always comes back to football. Like me and you, we're kind of the same that way. We've traveled the world,
Yeah,
played in different.
it's something we love.
Yeah, we've
Something we
traveled the
love. We
world.
gotta, yeah.
Yeah, we've played in different countries, and we can't. And if you tell us put a football at our feet all day, we'll do it all day. So, Total
We'll do
Pro
it now. And
Footballer
now
comes
the
with that.
also is how you transmit that to new generations and the players that have been next to you. We can feel the passion that you put in every training session, and you want them to be the best version of them as they could be. And that's what it leads me to. All right, you're in the top level below the A League, let's say, or the W League, is the NPL in New South Wales, in both in men and also women and youth. So you've been involved in this system. What do you reckon players need to get there?
They need to get to the next level.
Yeah, to that kind of level. For example, I got someone 14, 13 years old that want to get to the NPL system. Let's say they've been trying, they've been training, but what will make the difference between a player that is district, but is putting in the effort and got the maybe the ability, but something's missing to get to that level? What will be your recommendation? What will be, yeah, what are they making a different player, and what these kids maybe with the same qualities here in the NPL, and maybe someone that wants to but is not there yet?
Well, I think part of what and this is part of what I do. I always say, like, it's part of Total Pro Footballer. We're like, all right, how do we get you to the next level? So first set is to be honest and be open with yourself about where you are right now. I think that's where I'd always start. If you think, if you keep trying to reach level 100, let's put it like in the video game term, and you keep staring at level 100, you still have to be level 1, level 2, level 3. We've all played like our games, our favorite games. There's levels to it, right? So the first step was definitely to identify and be honest with yourself about what level you're at. And it's okay to be at that level, 100%. Accept it, own it, understand what your strengths are and what your limitations are. And then I think, and then that's the next step that I actually go with, the strengths and the limitations. Most players these days, they focus too much on what their limitations are. They focus too much on what they're not good at. Like, oh, how am I going to improve everything? And so when you know what level you're at, I think you also know what you're good at and what you're strong at. And for me, the way I approach it is I double down on that. I first make you the best at what makes you good. And that's, so if you're a striker and you're a good goal scorer, you've got to make sure that that's what you do 100%. If you're a good defender, all right, defending comes first. Whereas these days we're a bit preoccupied a lot with feeling not inadequate in a way, but feeling less aversion, like, when you feel like you're not good enough, or you don't want to admit that you're not good enough at something, and you have to trying to mask what you're not good at. Instead, I first think you should double down on what you're good at, become the best at that, because that's what's going to feed you. Like, the players
As a coach, for example, as a coach in that age groups that you manage, let's say youth. All right, let's more of the youth players that we got, they're watching. Would you rather someone that is kind of equal, it's a balanced player in all skills and all part of the game, or someone that maybe struggles a little bit in the 1v1s in defense and maybe don't come to help, but every time he's going forward, he's a machine and he will put 100% in that? Or the opposite way, someone that maybe in attacking ways, he's not that technical, he cleared the ball, but he's a strong 1v1 defender. So would you rather someone balanced or someone that got some picks in the football level?
Well, that's an easy question for a coach like me. It's both, because I feel like in a team you need different types of people, different types of talents. You can't have 10 dribblers; it's not going to work. In the same way, you can't have 10. We'd love to have 10 excellent passing players, but at some point, somebody's got to shoot. Someone's got to dribble. Someone's got to be a little selfish. So that's what I mean. Like, if somebody's good at that and a player's good at that, I don't feel like discouraging them. I feel like making them understand what makes them good and what makes their teammates good, and building that trust between teammates. That's where you get it. And having players of different abilities is definitely part of that. Like, I wouldn't sit there and say I have a preferred type, even though, as you know, with coaches, we like our coaches' pets, where we have a player that tries really hard and puts in the effort, and we want all the best for them. They're important for a team. They're the ones that, and you see it a lot of times when there's a player at the end of the bench and he's been working hard, and they'll come in during a game in a season and they perform well. Like, most players are happier for that player than from when their top player scores all the goals all year. But we all understand that we need the best player as well in a team. So understanding that the team comes first and we need different types of personalities and different types of technical levels is that's the juggling act for us coaches, I guess. That's where we like to have a bit of everything.
You mentioned something very important, and it comes about accept your limitations, all right? And that not only comes for the player, but for the parent. I've seen it a lot, and I reckon you've seen a lot, that parents goes and prize too much their kids and tell them you're so good, you're such a best player, and encourage them, but I think in a way that it becomes a little bit, how to say, delusional maybe, or someone that is not, is just trying to pretending they're good players, even if they realize they're not that good. And that comes my next question. So would you rather be, or a player that you coach to be the player number 16 of an MPL1 team or of an A-League Academy, team, or being the top 5 player in a lower division, in an MPL2, MPL3, or even in a district division 1? Where would you rather to be, or you players to be?
So I think definitely if you ask every single player, even if they all tell you, like, if we're being honest to ourselves, we all want to play at the highest level we can. We want to test ourselves. We want to push ourselves to the limit. So I don't think I prefer one or the other. I think it's definitely just always saying, all right, if I'm going to push myself as hard as I can, and if this is the level that I get to, this is the level that I get to. Because being a professional soccer player doesn't mean you just play Champions League. There's millions of players out there nowadays. There's thousands of leagues. If you live and breathe this, you can do this for a living if you really want this. There's multiple professional leagues out there. There's multiple countries to go. You can travel the world. You can visit it. That lifestyle's for you. If the highest you want to push yourself is, and you get there, is MPL1, then that's where you got, and you got to accept it. Like, it's harsh, but going back to tell me.
Yeah, my question comes a little bit more to the level we are, all right, at the moment. So I've been, for example, in this SAP level, and then the MPL2, and I haven't coached MPL1 yet. But what I've seen is players that could be top 5 players in one team, getting good coaching, but because at school they got told, oh, they got friends that play in the MPL1, and I'm an MPL2 player, and I know I might not be at that level yet, and maybe parents pushing for the kids and the kids pushing themselves to go there. They go to that top level, they're not ready, even if they're in a good pathway. And then they found with no game time, because, the competition is higher, as high as you go, as, football is a filter. And then they find these difficult things. So that's what I come to players and parents and say, listen, my friend, you might be good, you got what it takes, but you're still not there. And that's something that I think the conversation is not out there yet. And parents are watching right now, and they know what I'm talking about, some of them, that they trying to push the kids to go and play there just for the badge, just for saying my kid is here, and maybe sometimes it's called something for the parent and not actually the kid. So in that point is where I goes, accept where you are, and enjoy the game. And if you want to get there, make sure that you go when you're ready, because otherwise you're going to waste a shot as well. Maybe you go, make it into the team, you were not ready, you didn't get enough game time, your level drops, and then you're back to maybe 2, 3 levels behind where you were.
I think that's definitely like it probably depends on age as well, because but you do have a fair point, and it is a delicate balance to kind of figure out, because at the same time, you know, I find with a lot of youth players that even if I think, like, in quote unquote, that they're ready or not ready, once they do get to a certain level, a lot of them raise their game. A lot of them thrive through the competition. They play better with better competition, and they learn differently. So it does have to do a bit with the attitude of the individual. So it's a bit case by case, but as a coach, if I was some players' coach, I just try to be as honest as I can. If that's my opinion, I'm going to say it, and my parent might not like it, a player might not like it, and I'll be brutally honest. I'll say, this is what I believe. Prove me wrong. And I've done it before where I've rejected players and I've sent them down a level because I thought they weren't ready. And there are some that have proven me wrong. I think one of them actually trains with your academy. Costa, goalkeeper. Yeah. He's one of them that proved me wrong. I had under 11s. I remember it. It was one of the most gut-wrenching things to do, to tell an 11-year-old you're not ready. I can have him cry and have an honest opinion of it. But that player, I respect that player now for the rest of my coaching days. He put in a whole year of training, worked his ass off, and came back ready and dominated his level. Happy days. He proved me wrong. I'm happy that he proved me wrong.
And that's a good feeling, actually. That's a good feeling, because you know that you maybe that was the fuel he needed. Maybe that was the fuel players need. Maybe someone needs to tell you no. And that's happened to me many, many times, and coming from where I come. And that's a fuel. It's up to you how you take it, right? If you take it like, my friend, that's going to destroy me because you think it's a no, because you think I'm a bad player, or I'm actually going to take that to train a lot and prove you wrong, and then we'll see you later in the same level.
Yeah, and I'll be very happy, because that's the other thing I think, answering your question again about if they go to another team and they're a higher level and they don't get the playing time, you have to assess every situation is different. A player might thrive with my coaching style, or he might not, and then he might come to you and he might do so much better. It doesn't make me or you different coaches. Where everybody has their style, every team has their style, and you see it every day in the professional game. You get a player who goes to a Premier League team, like Mo Salah is a great example these days. Goes to one team like in Chelsea, they don't even give him a good crack, a good look. He struggles to get game time, and now he's one of the best players of all time for Liverpool. You just get a different scenario, different situation. And answering that question where you said if they're ready if they're ready to go to a different level, it's not a bad thing being a better player at a lower level and developing your skills, and then going and having a crack at a top skill. And like Jamie Vardy is a great example of that as well. Like, he owned his goal scoring and his skills at lower divisions in England for so long, and we only got to know him, after he's 27, 28 years old, and now up to 33 the last 5 years, and he's one of the best strikers in the Premier League. So there's no right or wrong answer, and I don't think you always know it, but you just got to understand, if you love the game and you really want to put the effort and the skill in, and the time and dedication that takes, you'll chip away at it and then be okay with whatever level you arrived at. Like, I wish I played at the A-League level or professional overseas. I didn't quite make it. I was under it. And I'm totally okay with it. I'm still involved with the game because I love the game for what it is. And if I can help one player, and if I can help some players get to a better level, then I'm happy. And that's the whole reason I'll be doing this for the rest of my days.
Good. Yes, Dimi, for the players that want to make it, and I want, for example, you've been in trials, you've been selecting players around in SAP, in youth, and even in senior now. what is one of the, all right, I know it's a package. We won't play it be a package, of course, but let's just start with SAP, for example, with SAP. We got players that want to get there, but they only have maybe 1 or 2 days for trials, or maybe a couple of hours for trials. Is that enough for us to recognize a good player? And then if it's not, how can we change it? Or what are clubs doing? Or personally, what do you do to scout players?
Well, that just depends on what level of the
SAP, let's talk
exposure.
about
Yeah,
SAP.
no, I
Let's say,
understand. So with
for
SAP, so
example,
I'm
SAP,
saying
yeah.
there's different SAP licenses out there. So the associations with the definitely have a bit better of a opportunity to see players multiple times through their various academies, and then they have the exposure days. They have clubs underneath them, so you can go scout freely and without anybody like staring at you while you're here, kind of thing. Because their teams are part of the association, and then you can get multiple looks. Because yeah, definitely it is hard, and there are some days where, especially with kids, you can have a trial and somebody can look amazing and on that one day, and then and then 3 days later you're like,
It's happened a lot.
what the hell was that? Like, where did all that ability go? Like, where was what you showed us last week? So it can go the opposite way than what we think. So definitely it is something, but at the same time, the great thing about SAP, and the thing that I did love about it when I was a SAP coach and a technical director for it, you just see how much the kids can actually grow with that much game time and that much game exposure. I think that if we sit there and say which level, like if the Australian system is good or not, doesn't matter. I think they need SAP because what they don't have is what you had in Colombia and what I had in Greece. You don't have the park. You don't have the school, go back to school and play football all day. And SAP has exposure. Like, you play all day, you own your skills, you work on it day in, day out. So I think it's a tool that, and then you see it. Some kids like show up one day and then 3 months later you're like, wow, what an improvement. Whereas that's something you don't get at an older age group.
I made a TikTok video a couple of weeks ago saying, just asking why the representative football in Australia for kids from under 9 to under 12 don't have a competition itself, offsides and yeah, tape or stuff like that. And I got a lot of, it actually got viral by people throwing a lot of hate and people actually answering properly. And I know everyone got an opinion on that, but now that I'm more involved in that level, I just wanted to put it out there and say around the world things are done different, which is fine. Australia don't have to do exactly the same. But what if we add the competition part, or what if we add a little bit more of the realism of the game, as for example direct free kicks, and it's little details like that won't make any change, won't make any, maybe improve a little bit or expose a little bit more the kids to the reality of the game. But that's only my point of view. And I got people agreeing with me, people disagreeing with me. And I reckon under 11s and under 12 is a crucial age that is treating the same as under 9. And that's when I feel under 12 are still playing half of the pitch. And then next year they're going to go 11v11 in a full pitch. So what are your thoughts about that part?
That's a hard one. As a player, I'll sit there and ask every day, why can't I shoot? So that's something that I worked on my whole life. I love taking free kicks. Even if I'm not the best one on the team, I'll still go grab the ball off somebody who might shoot them better in training because I believe I'll score every time I take it. But to answer your question, I think you already answered it because you said, like, there's many people who have many different opinions on why to do this and why to not do it. And like, I can understand, especially at the younger level, you just have, big kids shooting and they're like, okay, you scored, but you're not going to really score them. And I don't necessarily 100% agree either because, you have to develop the way of shooting it, like the skill. So if you never practice a skill, all of a sudden, like, you have to start trying it later on. but at the same time, you use the word realism. So that's I think that's where we start a debate that has nothing to do with the game at the end of the day, because the game is exactly the same. It hasn't changed that much bar VAR. So I think if it's played in the normal game, I think we should definitely use it, especially as you start working with the old age groups. But that's another debate that you start getting with, under 13s, 14s, where kids just start shooting from anywhere because the goalkeepers can't save the goal. And you're like, all right, are we going to stop that? You're not going to stop shooting the ball. And that's how the goalkeepers will get better at saving things. Whenever you fail at something, you work and your body adapts and your skills adapt. So I don't think we should be trying to engineer the game as much as we are. It should be a little bit more free. But I can see the point that they're trying to make at the same time, because there are certain levels and certain conditions where a kid might be overdoing his shooting, and you just don't have a free flow of the game, and the kids can't actually get to practice their skills. But that's what training's for, and that's what other places to practice your game, like the park or yeah.
And now we got to youth.
Question. That was my idea.
No, yeah, definitely. We're never gonna be fully right. We're never gonna be fully wrong. We're just sharing our thoughts here, and I think it's value to bring it to the players here. And now going to the youth system, where it's more competitive, where it's more about find the balance in between winning and playing good football. How's your style of coaching when you're in youth, for example, at Spirit, where you are right now? Well, what's your style? What are you focusing on? What do you want to achieve with this, with your team?
Well, as coaches, as players, we always get influenced by somebody. We have a role model, and we have our quotes that we love to spat out and we live by. And my favorite one there is a Cruyff one, where he talks about football. Winning without quality is meaningless, but quality without winning is exactly the same. So I think he says winning without quality is boring, but quality without winning is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. So you have to find that balance of trying to play as attractive of a football style as you can. But for me, definitely it's all about winning. If we don't try to win the games and we don't drive that competitive spirit, I think it takes away too much from the game. Because I have tried the other way around. Like we've been, SAP coaches, and we really tried to preach, don't look at the score when we have, weaker teams or less talented teams, and we try to get them to understand that, they are improving, they are working on their skills. And I've had losing seasons where I've developed a few good players who made it then to the next level and got scouted, even though their team was losing. But at the end of the day, if you can combine that with winning, that's always going to be preferable, especially because it just breeds that mentality that you got to keep working, that you want to, what it feels like, and it drives you so much more. So, but at the same time, when you've won with ultra defensive teams, and I have won with ultra defensive teams before, you see that they're not able to really replicate that winning for multiple years. Because after a while, it's hard. Yeah, you get caught out, and skill always wins at the end. The better players are always going to be the better coaches, the better systems, the better defenses. The best attack in the end of the day always wins out. Now that doesn't mean that the better defensive teams don't win. They do win, but for the long term, they change. And the ones that win multiple titles are good on both ends, and especially going forward.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I agree with you. There is not only, I think it's a good balance, and especially in the young age groups, to try to tell them how to understand the game, play good football, and then at the same time being effective in putting the ball in the back of the net, as well as
Hmm.
stop the opposition to score them. Um, Changing a little bit the topic, I know you're coming from a football family, all right? Your
Hmm.
brother, your all your family is a is footballers. So, for example, from the point of view as a relative, how do you manage that your kids are like obsessions? For example, I don't know, you only want to play football, and you want to be a footballer, and you reach one level, and maybe one day you're out of that level, and you need to go and do your own life based on something else, find a job or do
Oof.
something else. For example, your brother is a top player. I played with him, unbelievable player, unbelievable skills, and reach a certain level, and then he's back into a normal life and is still enjoying the game. But there should be a point where when you realize, my friend, you might not make it until higher than this. And for players that are such a talented players, and that people can tell that you're a good player, but then at one day you don't make it anymore, or you can't, stay on that top level for many circumstances. How do you deal with that as a,
It's
footballer?
that's a very tough one. With a bit of depression for a while is how you deal with it. But it's tough because again, like it's we live in a world where money makes the world go around, and you need to be able to survive, feed your family, and deal with the future. So like bringing up a good example where you brought up my brother, he was still like that professional level for a good 8, 9 years there, and I I'm not just saying that because he's my brother. He could have stayed at that level, but at the point that he was at, he was understanding that, okay, so I've got 3, 4, 5 more years of playing, but whatever money I'm making is only enough to get me through these next few years. It's not setting me up for the next step and the next future. So what do I do? Um, and and that's a conversation that you have to have with yourself when you reach that point, and it's tough. Like it is really tough because, like even for me, that I didn't get to the level that he was at, I decided that I was going to stop and go only to work and start doing these things, and I could not stay away for long. I had to find a way to get back. So it's a
True.
tough one. It's again, it's part of being honest with yourself. Understanding that point where you're at, and if you feel like that's the right step forward for you at that time, you have to make that honest decision. If you think you can afford to keep trying and pushing, because I think we've all seen those memes where somebody keeps digging on the wall to find a diamond, and the diamond's right at the next few bangs of the next few digs, and you stop just short. You're like, oh, there's nothing here. But if you kept going a little bit more, maybe it was there. So, it's decisions that you got to live with, but it's hard. It is tough. Yeah, it hurt for a long time. And even to this day, when you want to think back, it hurts. It's a definite
Yeah,
hard one.
have to hurt because it's all what you care, especially when you're in that age where you can reach your top. But I feel like we gotta also, for example, your brother and so many other players that that they still playing the sport, they still going to training, it's still in a competitive level, they still involved rather coaching or playing, and we all got our own life. For example, I also a full-time coach now, but there is people that is a doctor or a fantastic carpenter or a fantastic builder, which is also all right. And then you never leave the game, and I think the game never leave you as well. So you're always trying to be in touch. We got a couple of parents asking some question there.
Mhm.
And I would rather I want people to put in the comment section the questions they got for you or for me, and then at the end we go through them,
Yeah,
if that's all right.
no problem.
One topic I got, Dimi, touching also with what you're starting your new project is, and look, I think if you're a sub player or under 18 player and you want to get a scout and you want to get into the next level, you need to use technology for that. And
Yeah.
the world is not the same. In my point of view, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna tell you what I think. And it's even a 10, 11 years old kid that shows what they do in the daily life, a parent that record the skills of the player. And if you're a youth player, if you're a 15 years old, 16 years old, 14 years old kid, and you want to make it into someone's team, I would rather someone that send me a CV, a link on YouTube with their highlights, and then asking me for a trial or asking me for an opportunity, that someone that just goes and their parent tells me, can my kid have a go and trial? He's very good. So what do you reckon?
Definitely. I think technology is like a big part of the game these days, and it's evident that's exactly what my business is catered towards right now. I'm actually writing a little ebook that will drop soon. Shameless plug there. And then part of it is creating your own brand. Like, you have to actually think about it. You have to be honest with yourself as a footballer. The game has changed. You have to kind of promote yourself because there's so many players out there. And like we've said, you can pick somebody on a trial day and then they disappear on any given day, or there's somebody that you missed and then they pop up. So, recording it, developing it, it's good for your own skill level anyway, because the camera doesn't lie. If I can't do the skills, if I can't play the game, if I miss opportunities, camera doesn't lie. I can see myself, I'm exposed. Whereas when we talk with players, like after games, no, I did that. Yeah, I recovered. I got back in time. And then you watch it in video and it looks slow motion, and then you can't hide. You have to accept it. You have to be honest with yourself. You got to accept it. The camera doesn't lie. So being part of using technology as a tool to become better, I think that's the good part of using technology, as instead of like hating on technology where, you've had kids stuck to their phones all day. Let's use it for something that might actually help them.
Useful, yeah. Yeah, very true. Even at the level I'm playing at, I really love to go, and maybe that comes from my passion to coach as well. But I go and see what could have we done better. What if I make this decision? I didn't check, I didn't scan. Look at my body position, made it in the wrong way. Stuff like that you don't realize unless you spend time watching what you did. But you find players that just want to go and play. And I think football is totally different right now. And the way opportunities come is not the way that you, dad, or even yourself, or even myself were before. It all changed. And now that you got the technology and you can use it and you can get someone to record your game, you can get someone that you. But that's the next question. What a player need to look at in a game? Like, if you can give us, I don't know, I know it's a lot of stuff in the principles and stuff like that, yeah. But if you as a coach, I don't know, let's say you got the under 15 team in the youth, and I'm 14 years old, in 2022 I want to play for your team. I send Dimitri a message saying, this is my video. What would you like to see in that video?
Well, obviously, I'd like to see, like, as a starting point, the skill is always there. So, a lot of times we get people saying, oh, if you send me only your highlights, anybody can make a good highlight video. But you've got to own it. If you are able to do something good and you're able to, score a goal, make an assist, or, win some challenges, whatever your strength is, depending on your position, I think that's important for me to see it, that you're able to do it. Because if you're able to do it once, twice, 3 times, then you're able to keep doing it. You're able to replicate it. So I want to see that you're able to do that. Because at the same way that people say that, you can only give me the highlights, you can only give me the bloopers as well. You can give me, I can make a video of Messi looking bad. I can make a video of Cristiano Ronaldo looking bad on a football pitch. If I just pick little clips where they don't chase, where they don't, where they get schooled, where somebody dribbles them, it looks bad, right? But if I pick only the bad moments, that doesn't mean that these players, can't do it. It doesn't mean Ronaldo can't score because he got nutmegged. So you have to show me that you can actually use those skills. And then it's up to me as a coach to see what level you did that at. And then if you have that type of ability, it's worthwhile giving you a shot. You can definitely see, how the ball rolls, how the skill, how close the touch is, those type of things. You can see that in a video. So any type of highlight is always welcome. Not just
What
one.
about the full game? What about the full game? Like if they send you a full game, would be something good as well?
100%. If you send me a full game, make sure you send me every single time you touch the ball with a thumbnail, because watching a full game takes a long time, and I do that on the daily. But if you give me the moments, I'll watch, 5 seconds before you touch the ball and 5 seconds after you touch the ball, because the transition part is always important. What you did before you got it, how you prepared, and what you did after you released it, because moving off the ball is as equally as important as what you do on it.
Yeah, very important. So that's when the new football methodology it is. I think we all using it. We're using tracks, for example, for running. We're using video analysis. We're using some of the skills that I think players don't really find it important. But yeah, Dimi, look, it's been great about how long? 45 minutes talking with you. Really appreciate it. So I got a quick activity to do, and it's 15 questions. Sorry, 15 questions for you, but quick questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Quick questions. All football questions, and easy. No, not all football questions. You tell me when you're ready. After this, we'll read the comments and see if we can find out some good questions for you.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Let's do it.
You ready or what?
Always ready.
Born ready, man. All right. Question number 1: best soccer player ever.
Oof.
Quickly, man. Gotta be quick.
Quickly, that you're asking that big one.
Come on, gotta be quick.
Messi.
Okay. Favorite coach.
And you're asking, I have too
Nah,
many.
Dimitri, you're not quick at all, man. You gotta be quick.
The wrong person. Jeez. Pep.
Pep Guardiola. Number 3: physical players or smart players?
Smart players.
Who would you go to a World Cup final with?
Oh, my brother.
Your brother. Describe football in a word.
Passion.
Euro Cup champion 2021.
I was going to say Greece always, 2004. I'm going with Italy.
Copa America champion.
Ooh, Colombia, yeah, no way.
A-League club.
A-League club. Sydney FC.
MPL club.
Oof. I'm still loyal to Gladesville.
EPL club.
Oh, Liverpool, all day.
Oh, the isolated training or holistic training?
Holistic, every day.
Who's your mentor?
Oof, my mentor. That's a tough one. I had a few. Coach Avramidis. He was a coach I had. I played in a 3rd division in youth in Greece. Miss him. He helped me a lot.
Good. Beer, wine, or whiskey?
Wine, every day.
Favorite food?
Tortellini.
The last one, mate. Number 15, playing or coaching?
Oh. Coaching.
Coaching. Really? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I bet you're going to say playing.
Nah.
Coaching. That's good. All right, Timmy, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So that was all questions I have for you. I just want to go through the comments if I can see some questions of the parents, players that are there.
I do have a question. Did you say best coach or did you say my favorite coach?
I say favorite coach.
Oh, then I take it back. It's not Pep, it's Klopp. The best one though is
Klopp.
Pep.
Okay. Okay, I got one here. How do you recruit players on the size and strength or the technical ability and football brain? That comes from yeah. Well, let me see. Yeah, how do you recruit players on the size and strength or the technical ability on football brain?
Oh, that's I think first, like, you always want to look at technical ability and a football brain, but I think people have it a bit wrong when they focus too much on the strength and the size, because strength and size are a skill as well. It's a sport. It's not a computer game. If it was just the football brain, I'd go, all right. If it was coaching, I'd go football brain. you know. But at the same time, you need players that are going to be able to go out and perform the skills at a high pace, at a high level. The game's changed. It's no longer slow paced. The lines aren't that far apart anymore. We preach close lines, keep it compact, so that good technical players can't dribble you. If they beat one player, there's the next player there. It makes it harder. Part of the reason why I said Messi and not the previous generation, because those tight spaces is ridiculous.
What about,
so the
got
game is
another
different.
question. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, so the game's different. Like, you've got to see strength, size, speed as a skill as well. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't make it if you don't have those things. You've got to adapt and find ways to impact the game. And there's plenty of players that do that. Like Busquets is a great example. He's slow as hell, but he's so smart. He's got a football brain.
Yeah.
He's got skill. And he's able to be one of the best football players in the world with his football brain.
With now another one with football in Australia finishing in October. All right. What should players do during the off season?
They should work on their game 100%. Depending on the age group, obviously, you need to introduce, but I think they should rest too long. They should rest. They should take a break. It's good to take a break. It's good to de-stress and plan and figure out what you want to do and how you're going to approach it. But you definitely need to work on your skills, and you definitely need to come back better than what you left it last year. If you need to, if that is improving a new skill, if that is working on a deficiency, also working on your strength and speed. That's part of the game. You need to understand that you can work on strength and speed even if you're younger. You don't have to get in the gym and lift heavy weights. You need to start with a base. You can still strengthen your body with your body weight and use methods that are tried and tested. You need to get better.
Good. And I think the last one, Timmy. Oh no, let me check. No, I'll do mine for the last one. And what is the best advice that you can give to a parent? How to behave as a parent with your kids? Example, at training, at home, driving before the game, driving home after the game, or even at the game itself.
Yeah, I think the best advice you can give, and I'm not a parent, so I haven't had kids yet, so I don't know. I don't want to be hypocritical here.
From the coaching point,
but from a coaching point of view, it's the same thing that I'd say to a lot of coaches is you've got to be very careful on how you let your child make their own decisions. As a coach and as a parent, when you're talking to a player, you want to give them, a step, but they have to take that. They have to figure out the answer. They have to figure out the lead. You can't spoon feed everything. You can't protect them from everywhere. So be open and accepting, and for them to fail and for them to not find the right answer, and give them their own space and time to figure that out.
Good, fantastic. Dimitri, thank you very much for your time. I know you're a busy man. And also for the people that want to follow you.
Yes.
For the people that want to follow you, we put I just put your Instagram, your personal Instagram account, but also your business Instagram account. so people can go there and follow it. If not, in the stories we're gonna put it, and all the clips that we get out of this video, we're gonna post it with your Instagram as well. So I really appreciate your time, man, and hopefully we can do this more often and talk about what we love, football.
That's it. Thanks so much. Thanks, Sergio. Thanks for the opportunity, mate. I appreciate
Love it, love it. Say hello to Christos.
Take care, brother.
No worries, mate. Bye.
Bye.